One day when I was 17, I experienced a moment in my day where the best word to describe what I was feeling was lonely. I had hit up several friends to hang out, and I hit up a girl that I liked. She didn't want nothing to do with me. It was just me, and this was in my life before I knew Jesus. I just remember walking down the side of the road that connected from my mom's to my dad's house. It was a several mile walk. And I decided to go to a park that I had been to many times before. I didn't have nothing else to do, man. I was just walking by myself. When I walked down this park, I took a turn that I didn't usually take, and that trail led me to a beautiful opening to a lake that I didn't even really know was there. And it was, 7:30 in the summertime. I think it was a little later. It was around sunset. Everything was perfect, beautiful. Hear the birds chirp. But I was so alone. I just wished that I had somebody with me. And I remember sitting down at the foot of that lake, right at the edge of the water. It wasn't like a beach or anything. It was like heavily bushed area and a lot of stuff around, like plants. But there was like a plank, literally a wooden board that kind of led out right to the edge of the lake. And I just sat down on that plank, and I'm looking out, and I started to talk with God. Now, mind you, I was totally lost in my life. I'm getting high every day, and I just remembered praying to God and saying, Lord, I don't know if I said Lord, I don't know what I said, God, whatever. I was just like, I'm so lonely. Won't you just send somebody to be with me? I just wish I was with somebody I could share this nice scenery with. And all of a sudden, at the corner of my eye, I see a V of geese. Up north, there's a lot of geese that fly together in V's, a V shape. And usually you see them way up high, but this time it was at eye level. And they start coming out the corner of my eye level with me, and it was dead silent around me, but all I could hear was their wings. And it literally sounded like woo, 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 woo. And they passed by. But they didn't keep going. What they did was they circled back, and I hear their beautiful wings, and I'm just watching like, holy cow. I'm just completely caught up in this moment, right? And the V of geese, in perfect unison and perfect sync, just turn around, make a Yui. And what do? Right in front of me, a glorious landing right in front of me. And I'm sitting there, because mind you, I had just prayed this prayer, Lord, I send somebody. I wish I wasn't so alone. Whoa. And these geese? Yeah, that's not people. God, you're going to send me geese? No, I didn't even say that, because it was just like the beauty of what just happened. I was like, whoa. And I just sat there and I had chills all over me, and I was just, oh. But it didn't end there. 2 swans came and started to swim right up in front of me. And I looked, and it's just like, wow, this is incredible. I had just prayed saying, Lord, I'm so lonely, send somebody. And He didn't send a human, He sent ducks. And you might say, well, what the heck does that mean? Animals, you can't do nothing with that. It's not like I started talking with the geese or nothing like that. But I knew I wasn't alone in that moment, because God had just answered my prayer. He wasn't saying, Kyle, I'm going to send you geese, even though He did. He was saying, Kyle, you're not alone. I'm with you. I hear you. I didn't fully appreciate that moment in that day, because even though I started to cry and I started to talk with God in that moment, I started to cry literally and say, wow, thank you, Lord, thank you. The next day I went about my life. I completely forgot about it. When I came to know the Lord now, or 5 years ago, whatever, I would constantly replay that story. And what I understood was that God really has been seeking after me for my whole life. And I could tell you stories about even when I was even younger. God's seeking after you. He doesn't want you to feel lonely. But are you appreciating the fact that He's seeking after you, that He wants to have a relationship with you? Unlike how I didn't appreciate Him in that moment. It's so clear to me now that God really was in that moment. That He sent His creatures, even though there were some mindless animals or whatever, people, there weren't people. He was saying, Kyle, you weren't alone then, you're not alone now. Although you were separated from me then, I've been seeking after you and I have loved you. And that love, man, I think back to those moments, and that moment in particular, that miracle, that answered prayer out of God's mercy, even though I was in my own ways, my own plan, my own purpose, my own life, man, doing my own thing, not really caring nothing about the Lord. He waited. And now I'm able to just praise and glory in His love and His patience that He's had with me. Are you feeling alone? I don't know. I know we go through times where we do. He is the friend that never fails, Jesus is. He is the friend that is always there, and He cares about every detail of your life. Everyone. He cares about every detail. There is no nook nor cranny in your life that He is not wanting to dig deep in and be involved. He is not passive, but He is there and He is present. He is real. And you can hear His voice in the Bible, and you can get a alliance with Jesus so that no longer do you have to be disconnected, separated from God the Father in the same way that I was. But He can bring lasting change, lasting fruit. No longer do you have to be lonely. Share this video with anybody you think is struggling with loneliness. And leave a comment if there is anything that I can pray for you about. Oh yeah, another thing. I almost forgot. Keep it G-Bay!